What is up, everybody? It has been, I don't know, man, like 2 months since I've filmed one of these collection videos. So I am very, very happy to be back at it here. As you can see, it looks a little different. I am in a new place. If you guys didn't watch some of my last couple of videos, I bought a house. Well, my wife and I bought a house, and we moved in and had to get everything ready, and we're in the music room so far, as you can see by some of the instruments behind me, and this is just the metal section of my CDs. But yeah, this is gonna be the new corner, so hopefully you like the angle. A lot better lighting in here than there was in the old apartment, so let's see how it goes. But I figure what better way to start off the friggin' new era, I guess, again, in the new place with a CD collection update. This is a pretty decent sized stack of crap that I've just accumulated over, I don't even know, man. It's a random stack. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're drinking Unibrow Iris Pistoles or something like that. I'm pronouncing it as if it's not French or something. But this is a Belgian strong dark ale. And it's Unibrow Brewing out of somewhere in French Canada. I don't exactly remember where. Whatever, not important. But I have been like kind of rationing these because I really like this brewery, and it's not the easiest thing to track down. So no, sorry. Beautiful, beautiful beer. And in the background, man, it's 'tis the season. It's friggin' fall time. Jamming some Dahmerfarben. If you guys don't know Dahmerfarben, you're friggin' missing out hard. They're just like some of the greatest modern kind of melodic, atmospheric, classically trained style of black metal. So I hope you guys enjoy that in the background. And we are going to just cut it into it. First thing I got here, Naachan with Heart of Acheron. Excuse me, Achaemon. I almost call it Acheron, which is not it. This is just a perfect album. This is stellar, folky black metal, atmospheric, out on Bindrun, which gotta rep the friggin' sick Panopticon hoodie I picked up. This is maybe the best Naachan has been. I also really liked Kanawa Black. I have loved every single one of the records that this band has ever put out, but this seems to be the fan favorite. So exactly how that works, not 100% certain, but dude, it's too good. It's so well put together. There's not a ton of like doomy elements as much as there's like really good melodic black metal sections in here. It has some of the percussive heaviness of death metal, but it really isn't a death metal record at all. It just kind of feels like it's got a taste of it, you know what I mean? Tell me if you guys think the same thing about Naachan. Just all around great stuff. I think for every kind of metalhead, there's something for you to like here. From the Opeth to the Municipal Waste fan. Amazing. Next, 3 Inches of Blood. Here Waits Thy Doom. I've been a fan of this band for a good long while. I have their debut album, or one of their other albums up there. It's the one everybody has. It's got the warrior that's all like weirdly skinny on the front. But I figured I should pick up another thing because I saw this at somewhere cheap. Really great stuff. This doesn't have as much melodic death metal influence as that other one does. This is a little bit more on the traditional metal side. Not a ton of harsh vocals comparatively. But yeah, lots of traditional speed metal isms. Like, I don't know, it really rides hard on the traditional metal in this in particular album, but there's just like a darkness to this band, you know? There's something about it that I just really like. I don't know, 3 Inches of Blood, I'm sure you guys have all heard it. I have a big stack, so I don't want to yak too much, but it's hard not to when I got stuff like this coming out. Streams from the Heavens by Thorthon. Dude, I have been meaning to pick this up forever. I just haven't. And I finally got around to ordering it. It's Peaceville repress. It took forever to get here for one reason or the other. Friggin' broke the case already because I'm a dope. Great band photo, great logo. If you guys don't know who this band is, first off, you're slacking. Second, It is just some of like the greatest death doom ever. This is like the quintessential funeral doom album as far as the beginning stages of it. This to like this and Skepticism's debut, Stormcrow Fleet, are just like the beginnings of this style as far as I have found. If you guys know something earlier than these, please do let me know. Something that's like actually funeral doom. Like, I get Autopsy's got doomy elements and a ton of the Finnish bands, which this is a Finnish band, so Skepticism. But like, let me know if you guys know anything earlier than this. This is just so like, this is just void fodder. It's my new adjective I'm calling things. It's kind of late. I'm a little slap happy. Yeah, dude, it's just suffocatingly dark. It just like steals all of the air from the room and just adds this discomforting static. Just this eldritch atmosphere, drenched in darkness. Thorthon is just killer. Alright, complete opposite side of that kind of a spectrum. Epidemic of Violence by Demolition Hammer. Dude, you guys know how great this album is. There is nothing to question about that. The first two Demolition Hammer albums are some of the greatest thrash metal of all time. Obviously, really death metal influenced. Dude, this is just vicious and just ferocious. I think I still like the first one a little bit more than this, but dude, still, this is just killer. Just percussive and heavy. They don't screw around with solos too often. They really just are tasteful all the way around. I just really love this album. I just really love this band, man. Look at these boys. Heck yeah. I wish I could have seen this band back in the day. Or just generally speaking. Are they still together? I don't know. I don't remember. Whatever. Next, some random obscure stuff. This is a Master's Command by Sacred Warrior. So, I found this randomly in a resale store. I found a different copy of which I'll show in another video. And I wound up just like falling in love with this album. And it is a great kind of proggy power metal, traditional metal style thing. Really cool album cover. I like that a lot. It reminds me quite a bit of like, if you took Gutter Ballet by Sabotage and like mixed it with Sirens, it's kind of somewhere in that general vicinity. It's got like the slower parts that are really atmospheric, and it's a little theatrical. It's not as theatrical as like Streets, but Gutter Ballet, and I just really can compare this band a lot to somewhere between like that era of Sabotage and like the earliest era of Sabotage. Lo and behold, this band sounds like Sabotage. Check this out. Don't go up here and try to think like, oh, it sounds like Sabotage. It's going to have as great of vocals as Chris Oliva. It doesn't. It has really good vocals still. Just a stellar record. Check this Sacred Warrior album out if you guys haven't. It's really, really good. Next, Vigilance Perennial by Falls of Raros, an album I have been meaning to pick up for a very long time and have been slacking wholeheartedly on. Really great record. I really like Falls of Raros' music. This is the album that I saw them for the first time touring. Yeah, 2017. So this came out a little bit before I saw them. It is just stellar cascading black metal, kind of proggy, little bits of post-rock here and there. This band just all around puts out solid record after solid record. The only one that I don't think is quite up to par is a debut, but sometimes debuts are like that, and sometimes debuts are the best thing the band ever did. This band, honestly, not a bad thing. Not the greatest thing they ever did, because they went on to make tons of great records, and this is nonetheless an amazing record. Out in Bind Room. I got two from Metal Church, Self-Titled and The Dark. I've been meaning to pick up some Metal Church for a very long time, just haven't gotten around to it, and I found these guys in a used bin at, I think it was Half Price Books for like $6 or $8 a pop, and I was like, yeah, I'm grabbing these two. So I'm really happy to have finally picked these up. Metal Church is Metal Church. Everybody knows this band, man. This is like trying to talk to you about Accept or something like that, you know, something that's so like painfully obvious. I feel like I don't need to reiterate very much. just great kind of early American hard, excuse me, just traditional heavy metal with some power metal-y tinges here and there. Great stuff. I don't know exactly which one I like more. I think I might like the dark a little bit more than the self-titled, but there's a great kind of like crunchy guitar tone in this one that I like, that adds to a bit of the darkness in the atmosphere. All around, rock solid records, dude. Absolutely top shelf material. Another top shelf record. I paid a little bit of a pretty penny for this at Half Price Books, but it is an OG press of To Dust You Will Decay by Angel Dust. Yeah, great friggin' record, dude. If you guys don't know this one, they're from Germany. It's their second record from 1988. And this is like a thrashy power metal kind of deal, somewhere in that area, something pretty speed metal-ish, but kind of forward thinking, but also a little goofy at the same time. Like, there's a song called Mr. Inferno on here, and it's just like a weird take on like the spooky evil creature kind of thing. It's just wild. It's a wild album. I'm sure you guys might have heard of this band. I hope you guys have heard of this band, because they're, you know, from the classic era, 80s, great German, speedy thrash kind of power metal material. Next, a little bit of dungeon synth for you. I got two from Old Sorcery, Strange and Eternal and Realms of Magical Sorrow. I have been wanting to get some of this band's material as well, just haven't pulled the trigger on it until as of late. I don't remember where I picked these guys up, but it is like old school dark dungeon synth. This has a lot more in common with like Fangordrim as opposed to something like a Fogweaver, where it's a little bit more pretty and kind of atmospheric. This is a lot more of the like old school dungeon synth style, the spooky underground kind of like castle dungeon dweller kind of stuff, which I don't know which style I tend to like more, but I think I like the old school style a little bit more. I don't know, there's something about it. It's a little creepier, a little more uncomfortable, something to get down with, you know. All right, I've been looking for this for a long time. Ample Destruction by Jag Panzer. Been wanting a copy of this for a long time, and this is the first time I've ever seen it in the wild. I couldn't leave it behind. Paid a little bit more than I wanted to, but it's a hard cardstock, High Roller Records, like a digi box, whatever you want to call it, dude. It's got this friggin' gigantic book and a poster and all that kind of fun stuff. Whole bunch of cool stuff in here, a bunch of notes, and then it comes with 2 copies of the album. So the one is a remix and one is the original mix. I'm kind of still on the fence as to which I like. The remix is a lot heavier sounding, but the original mix has a lot more of like that old school, you know, 1985 American heavy metal, man. What's not to love about it? It's great album cover. Some of the lyrics are stupid or kind of just goofy, but it's a great album cover. You don't have to like everything in the lyrics to like an album. Great American power metal. Early traditional power metal, you know what I mean. Next, another one from Brrip, R.I.P. to, I think his name's Astroth, whatever it is, the drummer who played on Autumn Eternal, and, you know, what is the one in between that one? Whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. He just died in the Ukrainian-Russian war. But this is a great later album from Brrip. This band really didn't drop off in quality. They definitely changed in style with their kind of like neo-folk thing that they were doing. But it seems like Roman got his fill of that, and then they went back to their thing. Great atmospheric black metal. Just rock solid, melancholic, raw-ish, style-wise raw, production-wise not super raw, but very straightforward in the atmospheric style. I do like this kind of like somewhere between melodic and atmospheric black metal style, especially quite a bit lately. Like melodic black metal has just been like gobbling it up. I've been gobbling it up, dude. Really great stuff, and this fits relatively in that mood, even though it's a little bit more menacing and melancholic. Next, so I thought this was a modern band. It apparently is not. This band is apparently from the late 70s. They kind of come out of the prog scene. Palace with the Sentinel. So I kind of classified this mentally as like proto-metal, sort of, but it's really prog rock, Really good stuff. Check out an awesome album cover. This is their album from 1984. This is a 2000 repress. Yeah, like I said, I thought this was a new band. They're from Scotland. Really, really solid stuff, man. It's out there, but in like a good way. It kind of has some familiarity to like Close to the Edge era Yes, if you guys are like fans of Yes. If you're not, you really should be. It's a great band. It's got that kind of progressive, spacey tinge, but this one has a lot of like creepy, dark keyboard work, a lot of organ stuff, really good synth work. Great all-around prog rock record, really kind of highbrow, but not so highbrow that it's inaccessible. Kind of like maybe like some of, some of like the Zappa stuff. I feel like isn't very accessible for people. But this is a good prog rock album if you're not a huge prog rock guy. It's got a really good 80s drum trigger sound if you like that style. It kind of sounds like Phil Collins. Drum tone wise. Next, Daisy Cutter. This is an album that I bought off of my buddy Anthony over at the Metal Miners channel. It's a straight up death metal band. This is just like everything you expect out of like a nasty, older style of death metal. I'm getting some serious jungle rot styles from that album cover. Really cool. I like that kind of imagery. Yep, there's the Metal Miner sticker right there. He didn't put it on the booklet, obviously. Really, really, all around decent death metal. Nothing too crazy. The vocals are kind of different, kind of dog barky, but in a non-offensive way, not like a Chris Barnes way, but like a slobbering at the mouth kind of feral vocal, as opposed to like, like Chris Barnes does. Really, really decent stuff, man. Definitely go check this band out. He said he's trying to help him out, get some stuff rolling, so check out Daisy Cutter, and if you want a copy, hit up Anthony at the Metal Miners channel. Next, another binder and release, Waves of Degradation by Kriegsgrave. This is a really good black metal album. It is a kind of fitting for the binder and label, really on the kind of Agalocky spectrum of things, a little bit more of the Cascadian black metal sound, a little bit more close to like somewhere between Alda and Agalock, which is really, really cool. I like that style a lot. There's something a little different about it though. It has a bit of like an old school attack to it. The production value feels more old school than say those two bands would be otherwise. And it's not as like unhinged as Alda was, especially on the early Alda material. But comparatively, it's very similar to those two bands. So if you like Cascadian black metal, I think you're going to like Kriegsgrave. I think there's a bunch of copies available at Bindern on their website. So if you like this, if you go check it out and like it, go check it out on there. Grab a copy. Next, something I've heard a ton about and just never bought, which is the Black Tower by Sons of Crom. I've seen this album cover around a ton, also out on Bindern. There's a lot of binder in this package. Yeah, I've seen this around a whole lot, and it is kind of a really convenient package of most things that I like in metal. It is like very kind of doom-laden, epic doom-laden, and like Viking era battery mixed with like a atmospheric black metal, somewhere in that general vicinity of those three. It's mostly clean vocals. There are some harsh vocals here and there, but it's a really rock solid album, dude. It's well put together. It's well thought out. The song structures are a bit long, but not in a bad way. If you like longer songs, I mean, it's a doomy project. You're gonna have longer songs. So if you like that style, if you like that Viking battery, if you like Arab Altor, I would say that you'd like this. Somewhere kind of like in that Northern Silency feel, but with like a ton of doomy elements. Very, very interesting listen. Check out Sons of Crom if you guys haven't. Next, another classic, which is Breaking the Silence by Heen. This is from 1990, if I remember correctly. I think it's the second Heen record. Everybody probably knows this one. If you guys don't, you need to check it out. It's very similar to your kind of Exodus style, maybe somewhere between Exodus and Overkill. Got a little bit more of that speed metal tinge than Exodus would. Really good, I don't want to call it progressive-y song structures, but I feel like this would feel at home touring with Corner, things like that. Just great instrumentation, good solos, catchy songs, fun to listen to, good high-energy, thrashy speed metal. Next, Noltem with Menez. I don't remember exactly where these guys are from, but this is a Northern Silence band. This is their EP, which is their second release. They've done a demo, this EP, and then they have a full-length record out. So obviously being on Northern Silence, it's at least going to be a good record, if not better. This is definitely in the good camp. Calling back to what I said earlier, this sounds quite a bit like Alda's first record. It kind of has that raw production with like the churning kind of swirly melodicism that isn't so akin to like when I think of swirly melodicism in black metal, I think of Anthem's era Emperor. It doesn't really have that as much as it has like this cacophonously suffocating mixture of like rawness, atmosphere, and some like good melodicism. It's a really good record. Sounds vaguely similar to more of your Cascadian style of black metal, but in particular, that first Alda album, the self-titled Alda album, is like what I couldn't get out of my head the whole time I was listening to this. Check this out if you haven't. Next, random one on the Manowar catalog, which is Warriors of the World. This is a weird record. It like makes some sense, but it doesn't always make sense. So they do some stuff that's like really cool. The lyrics are as corny and stupid as you expect because it is a Manowar album. I mean, what do you expect of a Manowar record? But they do some weird stuff. They do like an American trilogy, which is playing like they play Dixie into, I think it's like, I don't know exactly. It's a bunch of like songs from American history, and it's mostly made famous by Elvis doing it. So they're doing it too, and I think that the vocalist is just trying to flex on us with his vocal capabilities. You know, he's basically like an opera-trained singer, which is cool and all, but it really doesn't fit on here at all. Yeah, it's decent enough, but it's mostly just, I'm mostly just here for like the anthemic, keyboard-laden, kind of cheesy, hyper-masculine power metal that I know Manowar for. And this is from 07. 02, excuse me, 07 is a different one. Yeah, it's Manowar, man. Next, something random that you don't see me show a lot of, but this is Floodland by Sisters of Mercy. I'm not a big goth guy, but I, for whatever reason, tend to like this album quite a bit. The first time I heard it, I was really sold on like the goth thing because of it. It's really cheesy, it's really corny. The drums are kind of distracting. And hearing this really makes me understand why Typo Negative is considered a gothic doom band. It's tons of it. It's tons of this style of stuff all over the Typo Negative albums. And that kind of thing is kind of like a good intro for me because I really like doom, and goth is usually something I would avoid for the most part. Not necessarily all the time, but most of the time. So I'm really glad that I got into this. It's kind of like synthy, it's a little pop-ish. It's very, very 80s. Speaking of being very, very 80s, I think this might be from the late 70s. But whatever. No, 83. Yeah, 83. Made in America, or excuse me, Born in America by Riot. Everybody knows this band. This band has kind of had a bunch of different incarnations over the years. What are they called now? Like Riot X or Riot 7 or something like that. I don't know. I don't really care. But this band's really, really good. I've bought a bunch of their stuff randomly throughout the past couple of years. I have some LPs. I have a CD or a couple of CDs. They're great, man. This is kind of that early album where they're really channeling that kind of like first two Maiden records and like AC/DC kind of snot-nosed Bon Scott Street Fighter thing going on, which I do like. I kind of really like when they get a little bit more of a power metal feel, which they do. I forgot what the album's called. I could picture the album cover, but I can't remember the name of it. But this is a good record, man. I would truly say that you should probably go check this out. I'm gonna say I appreciate it like I'm in the band. Whatever. I don't really care so much about this album, but it's whatever, I have it. Empire by Queensryche. I want to like this band so much more than I do. Like, I really don't like this band that much, and I keep trying, man. I love their first EP. It's so good. Mindcrime is really, really cool. I think I need to check out, like, Rage Forward or something like that. I need to check out some of the earliest stuff. Maybe I should really only be going for the early stuff. This is from 1990, and it's really not an impressive album. I think it's really boring. I don't think it's very fun to listen to, and it was hard for me to get through. But I'll keep it on the shelf just to kind of, like, maybe one day revisit it. So I went to the Renaissance Fair with my wife and some homies, and I saw this chick just like playing a hurdy-gurdy, and I just stopped and talked for a minute, and I bought a CD from her. So if you guys ever go to the Bristol Renaissance Fair, this is Dora Vette. This is the chick who's playing the hurdy-gurdy outside in like the mercantile section of the Renaissance Fair, and it is just like neofolk. It's all hurdy-gurdy music. It's atmospheric. It's kind of somber. It's pretty. She does some really cool like traditional stuff like Scarborough Fair, and she does some more of like the old school kind of like medieval style things, as you might imagine somebody who would play the hurdy-gurdy might know how to play. It's cool if you like neofolk. Check this out. Then I picked this up in a used bin. It's Hardwired to Self-Destruct by Metallica. I don't know, man. I just like wanted to try it out. It's fine. It's perfectly fine, and nothing more and nothing less. It's not very impressive. It's good that it doesn't suck, but it's not great. I would never pay full price for this, but it's got some cool songs here and there. A lot of it's pretty boring. The title track's really, really cool. I don't know, man. This band is just like whatever for me at this point. I love the first three. The fourth and fifth album are decent, but the first three are where it's at, man. Some of this newer stuff is hit or miss. It's mostly just songs I like off of these albums, you know? And the last thing is The Lost Christmas Eve by TSO. I'm just kind of filling in the TSO collection. I like this band. Anything that has to do with Sabotage, you guys know I'm just absolutely feral for. But yeah, it's just theatrical Christmas metal. Kind of power metal-y, orchestral, whatever, this, that, and the other. That's all I'm going to say for that one. So that's going to be this whole fat stack. I don't like doing this big of videos, but I figured since it was my first one here, I could get away with it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you all in the next one. Keep it greasy.